Sometimes, the reason you feel tired is not because you have done too much. It is because your brain has been carrying too much. Too many thoughts. Too many choices. Too many messages. Too many unfinished tasks quietly waiting in the background of your mind. And even when your body is still, your brain may not be resting. You may spend the whole day sitting down, at a desk, on a couch, in front of a screen, inside a quiet room where nothing seems physically difficult. From the outside, it may look like you are doing almost nothing, but inside, your mind may be moving constantly. You are thinking about what you need to do next, remembering what you forgot yesterday, checking your phone without meaning to, switching between tabs, answering small messages, making tiny decisions all day long. What should I do first? Should I reply now or later? Did I forget something important? Why can't I focus? Why do I feel so tired when I barely did anything? Each question seems small, but together they can become heavy. And this is one reason your brain can feel exhausted, even when your body has barely moved. Mental fatigue is not always dramatic. It does not always look like collapse. It does not always look like burnout. It does not always look like someone completely unable to function. Sometimes, mental fatigue looks quiet. It looks like sitting still while feeling strangely empty. It looks like opening your laptop and feeling resistance before you begin. It looks like rereading the same sentence again and again. It looks like walking into a room and forgetting why you came there. It looks like picking up your phone, not because you want something, but because your brain is searching for a small escape. And this does not mean you are lazy. It may mean your attention system is tired. Research suggests that mental fatigue can appear after long periods of cognitive effort, sustained attention, emotional pressure, or constant information processing. In simple terms, your brain gets tired when it has been asked to manage too much for too long. Not only physical work, mental work, emotional work, the invisible work of holding your life together. Your brain uses energy when you move your body, but it also uses energy when you plan, remember, decide, worry, compare, imagine, organize, and control your attention. This is the hidden labor of the mind. And modern life asks the brain to perform this labor almost constantly. A quiet moment quickly becomes a screen. A pause becomes scrolling. A break becomes more information. A small feeling of boredom becomes a search for stimulation. You wake up and check your phone. Before your feet touch the floor, your brain is already entering the world of other people's messages, problems, opinions, images, demands, and updates. A few minutes later, you are not just waking up. You are comparing, reacting, planning, remembering, processing. Your day begins before your nervous system has had time to arrive. And slowly, this becomes normal. The problem is not that technology is evil. The problem is that your brain rarely gets a clean stop. It moves from work to messages, from messages to social media, from social media to news, from news to entertainment, from entertainment back to worry. Even rest becomes another form of input. Even boredom becomes something to escape. Even silence begins to feel uncomfortable. But your brain was not designed to be constantly interrupted. Attention needs space. The mind needs moments when it is not being asked to evaluate, respond, choose, or prepare. When every empty moment is filled with stimulation, your brain never fully lands. It hovers, always slightly alert, always slightly distracted, always slightly available to the next thing. This constant mental movement can create something called cognitive load. Cognitive load is the amount of information your mind is trying to hold and process at once. When the load is manageable, you can think clearly, you can focus, you can remember, you can make decisions without feeling overwhelmed. But when the load becomes too high, the mind starts to feel crowded. You may feel foggy, you may feel slow, you may feel like simple tasks require more effort than they should. You may want to be productive, but your brain keeps pulling away. You may want to focus, but your attention keeps breaking apart. You may want to rest, but your mind keeps running in circles. This is where many people misunderstand themselves. They think, I just need more discipline. They think, I should be stronger. They think, other people can handle this, so why can't I? But sometimes, The brain does not need more pressure. It needs less noise, because your attention is not an endless resource. It can be trained, it can be strengthened, but it can also become tired. Every time you switch from one task to another, your brain has to change direction. A message interrupts your work. A notification interrupts your thought. A new tab interrupts your focus. A random memory interrupts your calm. A small worry interrupts your sleep. Each interruption may seem harmless, but by the end of the day your mind may feel scattered, not because you failed, but because your attention has been divided into too many pieces. Imagine trying to read a book while someone gently taps your shoulder every few minutes. At first, you can return to the page, but after a while, you stop sinking into the story. You stay on the surface, you read the words, but they do not enter deeply. This is what constant interruption can do to your attention. It keeps your mind on the surface of life. You are doing things, but not fully arriving in them. You are resting, but not fully recovering. You are awake, but not fully present. And when the brain lives this way for too long, tiredness begins to feel normal. Stress adds another layer. When your body senses pressure, your nervous system prepares you to respond. Your heart may beat a little faster. Your muscles may tighten. Your breathing may become shallow. Your thoughts may speed up. This response can be useful in short moments. It helps you handle challenges. It helps you pay attention when something matters. It helps you act when action is needed. But when stress becomes constant, your body may stay in a low-level state of alertness. Not full panic, just a quiet readiness. A feeling that you should be doing something, fixing something, checking something, preparing for something. And staying ready takes energy. This is why you can sit on the couch and still not feel rested. Your body may be still, but your nervous system may still be scanning. Your laptop is closed, but your mind is still open. The workday is over, but your brain is still rehearsing conversations, unfinished tasks, future problems, and things you cannot control. You may lie in bed, but part of you is still at work. Part of you is still answering messages. Part of you is still solving tomorrow. Part of you is still trying to protect you from something that has not happened yet. This is why rest does not always feel like rest. Rest is not only the absence of movement. Real rest also requires a sense of safety. Your brain needs to believe that, for a moment, nothing urgent is being demanded from you. But many people never give themselves that signal. They stop working, then immediately start consuming. They leave one screen and move to another. They finish one demand and replace it with another form of stimulation. They lie down, but keep scrolling. They try to relax, but keep absorbing more information. So the brain never fully receives the message. You can stop now. You are safe enough to slow down. Nothing needs to be solved in this exact moment. Without that message, the nervous system may remain activated, quietly, subtly, but enough to make recovery feel incomplete. Sleep plays a major role too. Sleep is not just a time when you are unconscious. It is an active recovery process for the brain and body. During sleep, the brain supports memory, emotional balance, attention, learning, and repair. It helps organize what happened during the day. It helps restore systems that allow you to think clearly. It gives the mind a chance to reset its relationship with the world. When sleep is too short, too light, too fragmented, or too inconsistent, your brain may begin the next day already behind. This is why you can wake up after many hours in bed and still feel tired. The question is not only how long did I sleep, it is also how well did my brain recover. You may be in bed for 8 hours, but if your mind is overstimulated, your sleep schedule is irregular, your caffeine is too late, your room is too bright, or your stress remains high, your body may struggle to settle into deeper recovery. And when recovery is incomplete, ordinary life feels heavier. A simple email feels like a mountain. A small decision feels exhausting. A normal conversation feels like too much. Even choosing what to eat can feel strangely difficult. This is not because you are weak. It may be because your brain is already working from a state of low energy. When the mind is rested, decisions feel lighter. When the mind is overloaded, even small choices can feel like pressure. This is why mental fatigue often shows up as avoidance. You do not avoid the task because you do not care. Sometimes, you avoid the task because your brain is trying to conserve energy. It searches for the easiest relief: a video, a snack, a notification, a new tab, a small distraction. Not because these things truly restore you, but because they offer quick escape. The problem is that quick escape is not always deep recovery. You can distract yourself from exhaustion without actually recovering from it. You can scroll for an hour and still feel tired. You can watch something for comfort and still feel mentally crowded. You can lie down with your phone and still feel like your brain has not had a real break. Because real recovery is not just doing something easy. Real recovery is giving the brain what it has been missing: space, rhythm, safety, silence, sleep. Simplicity. Your brain is not broken. It may simply be asking for better conditions. Less noise. More rhythm. More space. More real recovery. And this begins with small signals. Not extreme routines. Not perfect discipline. Not punishing yourself into productivity. Just small, repeated habits that tell your nervous system, you are safe enough to slow down. One place to begin is the morning. When you wake up, try not to give your brain the entire world immediately. Before checking your phone, pause. Open the curtains, step near a window. Let your eyes meet natural light. Take a few slow breaths before the day begins speaking to you. Morning light helps the body understand that the day has started. It supports the circadian rhythm, the internal clock that helps regulate sleep and wake patterns. You do not need to make this complicated. A short walk. A few minutes outside. A quiet moment near sunlight. The point is not perfection. The point is to begin the day with a clear signal instead of a flood of information. When your first input is silence, light, and breath, your brain enters the day differently. It does not mean the whole day will be easy, but it gives your nervous system a gentler beginning. Another helpful step is to reduce task switching. Choose one thing, not 10. 1. Write it down. Begin it gently. Give it a clear start and a clear finish. Your brain likes clarity. When everything feels important, the mind becomes tense. But when one small task is placed in front of you, attention has somewhere to land. This does not have to be a major life change. It can be as simple as saying, for the next 20 minutes, I will only write this paragraph. For the next 10 minutes, I will only clean this desk. For the next 5 minutes, I will only begin. Starting small is not failure. Starting small is how the brain learns that action is safe again. After that, take a real break. Not a break where you feed your brain more noise. A real break. Look away from the screen. Stand up. Walk slowly. Breathe. Let your eyes rest on something far away. Let your attention widen again. The brain was not meant to stare at close screens for endless hours without pause. It needs distance. It needs movement. It needs small changes in rhythm. A third step is to create a low-stimulation evening. Your brain cannot go from chaos to sleep in 1 minute. It needs a bridge. Dim the lights. Lower the volume of the day. Put your phone away earlier when possible. Choose something simple and quiet. Read a few pages. Stretch gently. Prepare tomorrow's clothes. Write in a notebook. Listen to calm music. Let the room become boring in a peaceful way. Boredom is not always bad. Sometimes boredom is the doorway back to rest. It gives the brain time to stop chasing the next signal. At first, quiet may feel uncomfortable. You may feel the urge to reach for your phone. You may feel restless. You may feel like you are missing something. But this does not mean quiet is bad. It may simply mean your brain is used to noise. And, like any habit, the mind can learn a new rhythm through repetition. A fourth step is to write down your mental loops. Sometimes, your mind keeps repeating thoughts because it is afraid you will forget them. A notebook can become a place where the brain puts things down. Write what is unfinished. Write what matters tomorrow. Write what you cannot solve tonight. Write one small thing you can do next. This does not solve every problem, but it can reduce the feeling that your mind has to hold everything alone. When thoughts stay only in your head, they can feel endless. When they are written down, they become objects. You can see them. You can organize them. You can leave them for a moment. And sometimes, that is enough to let the nervous system soften. Another gentle tool is walking. not intense exercise, not a performance, just walking. A slow walk can help the mind shift from rumination into rhythm. Your feet move, your breath changes, your eyes take in the world around you. The brain receives new signals: trees, sky, air, light, distance. A walk reminds the body that it is not only a thinking machine, it is a living system. And sometimes the mind begins to settle when the body begins to move. You can also practice small moments of stillness, not meditation as a perfect technique, just stillness. Sit for 1 minute before opening your phone. Take 3 slow breaths before replying to a message. Pause at the doorway before entering work. Place your hand on your chest and notice your breathing. These small moments create space between stimulus and response. And in that space, the brain gets a little more choice, a little more clarity, a little more calm. This is how recovery often begins. Not with one dramatic transformation, but with small, repeated signals. The brain changes through repetition, not punishment. Your nervous system learns from what happens again and again. If every quiet moment becomes stimulation, the brain learns to expect noise. But if some quiet moments become safety, the brain may slowly remember how to settle. This is not about escaping life. It is about returning to yourself inside of it. You do not need to disappear from the world to recover. You need small spaces where the world is not constantly entering you. A morning without immediate scrolling. A work block without constant switching. An evening that does not attack your senses. A notebook that holds what your mind no longer needs to carry. A walk that reminds your body it is allowed to breathe. A few minutes of silence that teach the brain it does not have to run all the time. These things may seem too simple, but simple does not mean weak. Many of the most important signals for the brain are simple: light, darkness, movement, stillness, breath, routine, connection, sleep. The modern world often teaches us to look for complicated answers, but the nervous system often responds to basic rhythms repeated with care. You do not need to fix your whole life today. You do not need to become a different person overnight. You can begin by noticing. Notice what drains you. Notice what restores you. Notice when you reach for stimulation because you are tired. Notice when rest is actually more information in disguise. Notice how your body feels after scrolling. Notice how it feels after walking. Notice how your mind changes when the evening becomes quieter. This kind of awareness is not judgment. It is listening. And listening is often the beginning of change. Because maybe your tiredness is not the enemy. Maybe it is a signal. A quiet message from your brain saying, I need less noise. I need more rhythm. I need time to recover. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. If you have a medical condition or serious symptoms, speak with a qualified healthcare professional. If your tiredness is severe, persistent, unusual, or affecting your daily life, it is important to speak with a qualified healthcare professional. But for many people, everyday mental exhaustion is also a reminder that the brain needs care, not criticism. The mind is not separate from the life you give it. It is shaped by your mornings, by your evenings, by your screens, by your sleep, by your stress, by your pauses, by what you repeat when no one is watching. And slowly, through repetition, the brain learns what kind of world it is living in. If your world is constant urgency, the brain learns urgency. If your world is constant noise, the brain learns noise. But if you begin to give it small moments of calm, it may slowly learn calm again. Not instantly, not perfectly, but gradually. And maybe that is enough. Maybe healing is not always a dramatic breakthrough. Maybe sometimes healing is a quiet morning where you do not reach for your phone, a slow walk after a difficult day, a notebook beside your bed, a room that becomes dim before sleep, a breath before reaction, a moment where you stop treating yourself like a machine, because you are not a machine. You are a human being with a nervous system, a body that needs rhythm, a mind that needs space, a brain that needs recovery. So if you feel tired even when you have done nothing, do not rush to judge yourself. Pause. Ask a better question. What has my brain been carrying? What noise have I been calling rest? What kind of recovery does my mind actually need? Because sometimes the first step back to energy is not doing more. It is finally giving your brain a place to rest.